If you are an exhausted parent and you're spending hours getting your baby to sleep, despite your best effort to follow all the Drowsy But Awake recommendations, I'd love to show you how to have your baby fall asleep and stay asleep without having them cry it out alone, so that the entire family can spend the night sleeping peacefully. Even if you typically struggle with knowing what to do to get your child to sleep because of all the different advice that is out there, most of which you've probably already tried. And stick around to discover how you can, in less than 7 days, have your child falling asleep on their own and doubling their amount of sleep they get overnight by understanding exactly how to respond to their cries. So hi, my name is Jensine Casey, and as a certified sleep consultant, postpartum doula, and mom of 3, I give you science-based methods, but with a heavy emphasis on realistic strategies because mom life, right? And the number one thing I want you to take away from this video is that sleep training is the fastest and most effective way for your child to get quality independent sleep, which is not the same thing as leaving your baby to cry alone in a room. Sleep training is really anything that we do around our child's sleep to activate a change. It could be moving their nap schedule down in naps, moving their wake up or bedtime, or as it's commonly thought of, helping them learn self-soothing skills to fall asleep without adult assistance, but with compassion. Kind of like when you learned how to drive. It's a skill that we need to learn to be successful in this society, but no one was born knowing how to do it. This is something you were taught, and it's the same thing with sleep. And the first thing you need to know about sleep training is that this is designed to give you a plan of exactly what to do in any given situation to help your baby learn to comfortably fall asleep on their own. Having a step-by-step plan on exactly what to do will make you super confident when it comes to bedtime, naps, during overnight wake-ups, to continue to have your baby sleep well. Yes, your baby will cry while they're learning a new skill. But once you learn what these cries mean and how to react to them, your entire life will change. The first thing you need to understand is that there are 3 different levels of crying while you are sleep training your child. And understanding these levels is going to help you feel so much better entering into sleep training. You're going to keep a strong bond with your baby and help them feel comfortable and confident to fall asleep on their own. Because we want our children to feel safe, secure, and at peace when they fall asleep. But if you need more proof that compassionate sleep training works, I have it. There's a popular belief that cry it out is the only option or the most effective option, but the good news is you can get amazing sleep without using that method. That is not all sleep training is. In fact, the author of a best-selling book on baby sleep showed scientific literature almost 20 years ago by reviewing 52 studies on various sleep training methods, suggesting that all the gentler approaches can help most babies and parents get more sleep. In 49 of the studies, sleep training decreased resistance to sleep at bedtime and decreased night wakings. So you can get sleep, no cry it out required. That is how you get your baby to sleep, double the amount of sleep that they are currently, unlike just waiting it out and hoping that things get better, where maybe it will, but most likely it won't. If your child doesn't know how to fall asleep on their own, it will just change and manifest in different ways as your child grows. For now, they may need you to rock them to sleep, and when they're older, they'll need you to lay with them in their toddler bed to get to sleep. However, you will have to make some changes to your current sleep situation to make this work. Because once you commit to making changes that will have a positive ripple effect on your entire family, you'll need to stay consistent with it. Now in my program, Goodnight Baby, I teach you to do this in full detail, but let me give you the basics, because this seems to be one of the biggest takeaways for students inside of the course. For example, take Nicole's story. She said we needed the accountability to actually focus on sleep training given how tired and hopeless we were. I also felt anxious for those first few nights to be behind us. We felt hope and relief when our son started to fall into the patterns we set for him. We also felt guilty that we hadn't done this sooner. Everything in our life is totally different. Her husband and Nicole now have a couple of hours before they go to sleep to be together and have time for themselves. Their older daughter is also starting to learn to fall asleep earlier now that the house is strictly quiet after 7 p.m. She said, "We are so happy we made the leap to work with a sleep professional." When I first started trying to change things in my own son's sleep before I became a sleep consultant, I ran into feeling both paralyzed and confused about where to start. And when we did start, after days and hours of navigating the confusing articles on Google, I really didn't feel equipped with how to handle his cries. Do I go in? Do I wait longer? What do I do? However, once I took the time to understand the difference in his cries while he was falling asleep and responded differently based on which cry he was using, our sleep situation drastically improved, as did my health, my marriage, and my relationship with my son. That's when I realized understanding the different cries that happen during sleep training makes 100% of the difference in getting more sleep. Now, I had time to spend with my husband to connect after he got home from work instead of being glued to watching the baby monitor. Now I could actually enjoy the time I had during the day with my son instead of dreading the upcoming night, knowing I would never have a break. But most people won't even begin to consider sleep training because they think it will be unbearably hard. They run into a fear that their child will cry for hours and hours and never actually fall asleep. And that will lead to you crying and crying for hours too, feeling infinitely guilty that you're putting them through this. And maybe you're like this too. You're thinking, I can't do this anymore, but I can't let my baby cry alone. You don't want to keep feeling like you're drowning, but that sleep deprivation is really setting in. So if you're thinking sleep training just isn't the answer for me, I want to show you how you can sleep train once you fully understand the crying hierarchy that I created that exists while you were implementing new sleep strategies. Because if you're feeling like a terrible mom for even thinking of letting your baby cry for 1 minute, or if you have felt like you've tried everything already and your baby will never be able to fall asleep and stay asleep on their own, I want to show you how you can get to understand your child's cries while they are sleep training without feeling like you are deserting them or breaking your bond. I hear you and I completely understand and want to help. Now, obviously, I cannot promise on night 1 after you watch the crying hierarchy video that your baby will just lay in their crib without tears and peacefully fall asleep. But we all know if you struggle with getting your child to fall asleep on their own, then you definitely don't have the time or the energy to continue to not get sleep. So you do not have time to waste. Because if you just keep crossing your fingers and whispering to your baby at night, please, please, please sleep, you will not get the restorative sleep you all deserve. So the crying hierarchy is a treasure map for sleep training, so you can finally get your baby sleeping through the night and getting double the amount of sleep they are currently getting right now. The crying hierarchy video is a bonus training that I created for students inside the Goodnight Baby Sleep course, but I'm gonna link it up for you below because I think once you see how easy it is to understand what your baby's cries are saying, that actually will make a huge difference in your sleep training journey, which means you'll be able to get started to getting more sleep, having more patience, and actually doing things for yourself to take care of you. You'll see it isn't such an uphill battle because the crying hierarchy video lays out exactly how to identify which level of crying your child is doing and how to respond based on what level they are at. Then it's going to feel so good to see the progress in your child's sleep by looking at the clock and being shocked they slept for so long, and see your patience level start to rise, that you are craving to connect with your spouse more and actually want to move your body to feel healthy and strong. And you can find that video through the link in the description of this video. I'll see you there.